right now I make over $22,000 per month working remotely at 22 years old. And in this video, I just want to sit down and give you some no BS raw advice that I wished I knew when I started off in my journey a couple of years ago that would have gotten me to this point so much faster. 3 specific things I want to give to you that's going to allow you to get to your goals way, way faster, skip a lot of like the mistakes, pain, trial, error that most people go through to actually get to that first 10, 20K per month online, get freedom and all that stuff. And stuff that I really wish that I knew that would have gotten me to a point now where I can start traveling and living a life of freedom that I have right now way, way sooner. And just skip past all of like the mistakes that I had to make myself. The journey to get into your first 10K per month, and when you're someone who wants to achieve more in your life, you want to have more freedom, you want to be able to like travel, not be stuck in a 9-to-5 job. It's very hard to know like what to actually do. You have all of these guys online that tell you different things to do. Some guys tell you to start drop shipping, some guys tell you to start TikTok shop, and like there's this confusion, where you're constantly having to like pick and choose between all these different opportunities. Like, what's the best thing for me to get into? Should I do this or that? And people telling you that if you just do this, you will get to $100,000 a month in the next 6 months and become a millionaire this year. And I just want to kind of cut through all that like this noise, because I've been there. I've been exactly where you are right now, where it means like looking at all these different gurus and like, what do I do? What's the best thing to get into? And I was there, I figured it out, I picked one thing that's worked extremely well for me that I'm happy that I picked to do. And it's allowed me to get to a point now where, like I said, I'm able to build freedom for myself. I can travel wherever I want. I can make multiple 6 figures per year. I've built the life that I used to dream of. And I also set myself up to a point where I have a skill set that's going to allow me to never go broke again in my entire life. And really set myself up to pursue any business adventure that I want, and also guarantee my income for life. And it was not by doing the next hot business model, It was not by getting into trading, meme coins, TikTok shop, or like any of these things that you hear about online. What it was by learning a fundamental skill. A skill that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's always going to be around, no matter what happens with AI, etc. I've mastered a skill that's future-proof and that's been around for a long time. And I just applied that in the industry of working in the online space, which allows me to take advantage of working remotely, getting paid and like quick commissions, being able to work in that online space at like fast pace where I can get paid and also be part of a growing industry. The online e-learning industry that I've been selling in for the last couple of years is growing very quickly. And the first reason I'm going to tell you is something that might actually kind of upset you a little bit. At least it did for me when I heard this the first time. It's that most people out there, they don't actually want the things that they say that they want as bad as they talk about it, okay? You probably have things right now that you say that you want. Maybe you're telling your friends and your family that you want to make 10K a month, that you want to get freedom, that you want to get out of the 9-to-5, etc., etc. I used to do these things as well. But when it comes time to actually taking the actions and like doing the things that it actually takes to get to these goals, but when it actually comes time to take action and do the things that it takes to get to these goals, these things that you say to yourself and to other people that you want to achieve, most of us are not willing to do what it takes, okay? I want to be one of these Miami kids who are driving Lambos and going in SVJs and living in penthouse apartments, That's the easy part. But I see way too many people just lying to themselves, And I want you watching this right now to be very, very honest with yourself. How bad do you actually want to achieve the things that you say that you want? Because if you're not willing to back up the words, like the thing that you say that you want, with actions, you're not going to achieve them, okay? And this might trigger some of you guys, but it's very I just want to be real with you because I want you to succeed. And this is something that held me back for a long time, because I was just telling myself that I'm going to make 10K a month. I'm going to get freedom. I'm going to become a millionaire at a young age. And this kept me stuck, and it keeps so many people stuck. We're in this cycle of I want to become a millionaire. I want to make 10K a month. But when it comes time to actually invest into, let's say, a coaching program to actually learn the skills from someone who's already done it, they're scared of investing into themselves. When it comes time to change their habits, stop watching Netflix all night, staying up until 2 a.m., stop scrolling TikTok all day and brain rotting. When it comes time to actually take these actions, actually change how you operate in your day-to-day life, most people, even though they say that they want to do all these different things, they're not aligning their actions. And that is why you're stuck right now. So I want to be really honest with you and just set these expectations that this is hard to do, Becoming someone who's able to make $10,000 per month, that is hard. Most people that are working traditional 9-to-5 jobs spend 20 to 30 years to get to that point where they're making 6 figures per year, So why do you expect yourself to just sit on your phone for like 1 hour per day and then make 10K a month. Realistically, that's not gonna happen, okay? You need to level up as a person. You need to make a lot of changes, and you're gonna have to go through like a hard period of time of really just like locking in, focusing on one skill set, getting really good at one thing to actually get to $10,000 a month. It's not gonna be an easy thing to do. I wish someone would have told me this earlier, because when I understood this and I learned that it's all about just how bad do you want things. If you just ask yourself like, how bad do I truly want to achieve this end result? Then it becomes very clear, like what things are you willing to sacrifice? And the first thing on that list is going to be that you're going to have to be willing to live in a place of uncertainty. You're going to have to be willing to constantly feel nervous, uncomfortable, scared, and just move in spite of those feelings. Because that's the biggest thing that I've learned throughout my journey. When I started my first like remote sales job and I got into my first business, started making my first like 5K a month, I had no idea what I was doing. I just threw myself into business, faked it until I made it, and I was very scared. I was very uncertain. A lot of times I was like, what am I doing? Is this going to work out? What if I fail? I had these thoughts constantly, you know? And there was two different options. Option number one, I could just like revert back to my comfortable previous self, like move back to my parents back in Sweden, go into like a university and just like keep studying. Or option number two, I could keep living in uncertainty, keep moving towards the things that were scaring me. And obviously I chose option number two. I just kept moving, just kept kind of just making stuff work, just putting one foot in front of the other, and just like moving forward. And I figured it out. But the only reason why I was able to do that is because I understood. I had a mentor at the time telling me that, Alex, like the only way you will move forward, the only way you will get to your goals is if you learn to become okay with feeling scared, feeling uncomfortable, and just moving in spite of that. Okay. So this is fundamentally just like becoming aware of the fact that you're supposed to feel those emotions. You're supposed to feel scared, nervous, and uncomfortable, and then you move despite of that. And the more you can train yourself to not react by just moving away and like pulling back when you feel scared, the more success I promise you will see. Because the reason why most people are stuck, especially young guys, 18 to like 25, is because whenever they're about to actually put their goals and their words into actions, they always end up just pulling back when they feel these negative emotions like fear and nerves, because they don't understand that those emotions are what's required to go through to see success. And this is why building conviction in yourself and building self-belief is so powerful, because the only reason why you will actually go through all this pain, trial, error, go through all these negative emotions to actually get to your goal is if you truly believe that you're capable of getting there, you know? If you think about very successful athletes, you know, why do some people like look at Michael Phelps, look at people like Michael Jordan, look at other successful athletes, you know, like why did they get to a point that very many people never actually get to, even though some people have better like physical capabilities? It's because they believe that they can. Self-belief and conviction is so important, because you will only take the actions to get to your goal if you truly believe that you're capable, that you can get there. And that comes from just like having conviction and belief in yourself. That comes from you having shown up for yourself previously. That's why keeping your word to yourself, holding promises, and doing what you say you're gonna do throughout your entire life, even the small things like waking up on time, hitting workouts, eating healthy, not doing stuff that's harming you, those type of things are so important, because that's what actually builds the confidence for you to stick to the actions for long enough to actually get to where you want to go, despite of all the hardships you will experience on the road. That's really fundamental stuff. Like you need to have those things in place. If you're not willing to stick to something, even though it's scary, even though it's uncomfortable, and it's like jump into the deep end and just trust that you can figure stuff out, you're not going to see success with whatever you do. So that's the first thing, is understand that, reframe the way you look at fear, and it's start thinking in the way that when I feel scared, when I'm nervous, scared, uncomfortable, that is good. I used to write this down. I have a notebook. I could show this in a different video where I actually have it written down. Alex, when you feel scared, uncomfortable, nervous, that equals growth, okay? And it's reframe my whole way of thinking. This is so powerful. When you start thinking this way, you will see unlimited amount of growth. When you start thinking that, okay, I'm scared, that's good, I'm learning. I'm uncomfortable right now, I feel nervous, I feel uncertain, that's good, I'm growing, okay? That's super, super powerful. Second thing is like, what do you actually put all this energy into? When you learn this stuff, when you change how you operate, what do you pour all of this like drive, energy that you have right now to make money online, get freedom, what do you pour that into? In my opinion, every single person that's watching this that haven't made their first 10K a month online yet, get into sales, okay? It's not the most flashy thing. It's not going to make you like a billionaire, and it's not going to be the thing that's going to like retire your future family, your kids, and like allow you to have complete full freedom, okay? But it's by far the best and most guaranteed path for any beginner, anyone that's working a 9 to 5, or anyone that's tried to make money online before. Even if you're in a traditional sales job right now, if you get into a remote sales position, what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years roughly, that is the fastest way to get freedom, get a skill that's going to be with you for the rest of your life, learn how to influence other people, learn the fundamental of how business works, and set yourself up for a life of becoming wealthy and never have to go broke ever again in your entire life, because you've learned a skill that's with you for the rest of your life. Okay, super crucial. Learn sales, and you want to do it in the industry of working in remote high-ticket sales. Traditional sales jobs kind of suck compared to a remote high-ticket sales. In remote high-ticket sales, what I've been doing for the last couple of years, you only talk to pre-sold leads, people that already know, like, and trust the business and the product that you're selling. They already want to buy. You just need to ask them a couple of questions, qualify them, and make the sale, you know, and you get paid commissions, usually between 5 to 15% of what the program is priced at that you're selling. And this can be programs priced anywhere from $5,000 up to $20,000. So realistically, if you're good at this, you can be making anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 per Zoom call that you take. So it's a very leveraged position to be in, where you can just be taking a couple of calls per day, talking to people, understanding psychology at a deep level, understanding how to close people, how to handle objections, persuasion, very high leverage and high income skills that you're learning and getting good at. And it's setting you up, like I said, to run your own business down the road. When you learn how to sell, you know how to lead people. You will also know how to market yourself, because marketing is just sales to multiple people at the same time. So you will know how to do that. You'll know how to manage a team, how to lead a team. You will learn all these different things when you're doing sales inside of already successful business in the high ticket sales space. Because what this is, you really is work for an online business. You work for someone that's selling a course, coaching program, someone like, think about Grant Cardone, Iman Gadzhi, Alex Hormozi, Tony Robbins, people that sell information online. You go and sell it for someone like that. There's also a bunch of other industries like agencies, like SaaS companies you can go and sell it for, where you just learn the inside of a business and you do sales, which means you become valuable with these companies. And that's going to set you up for life. You learn the most fundamental skill in business. You get paid very well for doing so. You get freedom. You can travel, experience, learn different things. And then once you've done this for a couple of years, like I've done at this point, there's so many opportunities that open up for you. You can start your own coaching program, you can start your own business, you can start investing all the money that you've been making into real estate, or you can start consulting for other businesses or start your own agency. There's so many different things that opens up when you have the connections, the capital, and the experience that comes from being in sales. So that's really the vehicle that I would choose for you to get into, is get into sales, get a remote high-ticket sales job, where you're coming in either as an appointment setter or a closer starting off with a business, and then just go all in on committing to learn that skill. And it's going to be a hustle in the beginning, maybe 6 to 12 months of you just like grinding it out. But remember that that's going to set you up for the rest of your life. The best thing with getting into a sales job is it's going to allow you to see results very quickly, okay? It's because you're struggling to stick to something for long enough for it to actually work out. Because the truth is that most business models, I'm not going to tell you that like SMMA or like trading or TikTok shop doesn't work, you know, but the reason why you're not succeeding with it is probably because you haven't stuck to something for long enough to actually see results with it, you know. And I'm not blaming you for that, because I did the same thing. You know, I did SMA for like about almost 2 years, and I failed with that over and over again because I couldn't stick to one niche and one business model for long enough to actually see success with it, you know. And it's hard because it takes a lot of time to learn the skills to succeed with those businesses. Whereas with remote sales, you come in, you focus only on one skill, which allows you to see your first $100, your first $200, your first $500, your first 1K commissions fairly quickly. And when you start seeing results, when you start seeing like money coming into your account, it's so much easier to stick to it. You know, when you're actually seeing that it works compared to all these other business models where you can be putting in work for like 2 to 3, even 6 months without seeing any results, any money show for it whatsoever. Obviously, it's hard to stick to something like that. So that's why sales is good, because you can come in, start making money very quickly, and then it's easier to stick to it when you're seeing results from the work that you're putting into it. So that's really the second thing, is get into the right vehicle for you. And for most of you guys, that's going to be sales to get into. That's going to allow you to get to that first 10K a month, get your freedom, so you can maybe leave your hometown, start surrounding yourself with high-level people, be able to actually network and get into these better circles where you surround yourself with people that are achieving what you want to be achieving right now. You start learning from these guys, and that's going to set you up for these long-term goals of making a lot of money, getting a lot of success for yourself when you have the right connections, you have the right skill set, and you have some capital as well. You can start moving, having freedom, traveling, etc. And then to the third thing, which is basically how to succeed in high-ticket sales and how to make that into a long-term thing, you know, because you probably don't want to be a sales rep for the rest of your life. You might want to be, which is totally fine. But if you have bigger goals of down the road, maybe becoming like your own business owner, having complete freedom, building like $1 million empire, etc., that's not going to happen with sales. So how do we actually get there, you know? First thing is just like understanding that you want to lock in on sales, at least for 1 year, I would say. Go all in on just getting extremely good at sales. Best way to land your first remote high ticket sales job if you have zero experience is just by leveraging your existing network. The people that you know right now, the people that you have, maybe they are following you on Instagram, if you bought courses, mentorships in the past, the people that you already know right now in your network are going to be your easiest entry point into this industry, okay? You can also go on Instagram and send out cold DMs to people that are either closers, appointment setters, or sales managers. I would not target business owners because they're getting heavily targeted right now by pretty much everyone that's sending out cold DMs. So I would just be focusing on people that are sales managers, closers, and appointment setters, but mainly focus on your existing network. Who do you know right now that could be connected to some type of high-ticket coaching program or something in that space? Reach out to them and let them know that you want to be getting into appointment setting or into closing, and then you will be able to land roles by doing so. The most important thing you want to do when you get into a company is you want to hire not just any mentor, you want to find someone who can actually work with you one-on-one. This was one of the biggest things that changed my journey when instead of going into these like group coaching programs and getting like general coaching and courses, when I instead hired a one-on-one coach, that's really when I was able to get way better results. Because instead of getting this general coaching of like, yeah, this is how to handle objections, etc., this is the word tracks to use, these are the scripts to use. When you have someone actually work with you one-on-one, that's when you can get coached based off of your skill set. Because everyone sells different. You might be more introverted, more extroverted, whatever it is. You might have a different accent on how you speak, how you naturally communicate, okay? And you need to have someone that works with you on your specific skill set, instead of just having general coaching. It makes a massive difference. And if you have one-on-one coaching, it's going to allow you to go from being mediocre to getting extremely good at sales way, way faster. Because it's by having a very tight feedback loop where you can take a call, get feedback, and then implement the feedback over and over again on a daily basis. And the easiest way to do this is by having a one-to-one mentor that's holding your hand. So if you implement this, you find a business to go work for from your network, you get a one-on-one coach who can coach you and getting extremely good in your skill set, and just go all in, lock in with that business, eliminate distractions. It's like lock in on mastering the skill of sales. I promise you, you will look back 6 to 12 months from now, being in a position where you're making way more money than you're making right now. You will have freedom, you'll be able to start traveling, you will be surrounded with way more high-level people in the business and also around you that are doing the same stuff as you. And you'll just be in a very different position than you're in right now in your current life. When I got into my first remote sales job through my network, I moved from living with my parents in Sweden to Medellin, Colombia. Booked a one-way trip, didn't really know anyone out there. I just went for it because I knew there was high-level people that I wanted to surround myself with out there in Medellin, Colombia. People that were doing sales management, closing, business ownership. And I just went for it. I just traveled there. And it was a big risk that I was taking. Moved into uncertainty. Just went there, locked in, worked my ass off for about 3 to 6 months. Didn't really do anything else. Just like networked, worked, and just like went all in on learning sales, getting mentorship, investing a lot of money into my development. And that's changed my life completely. So I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Take that step into uncertainty, go all in on learning a skill, and be okay with feeling scared, nervous, understand that is the path, that is what you need to go through to get to your goals. Focus on learning the most fundamental skill in business. Learn sales, it's going to set you up for life. You will not regret doing that. And don't allow yourself to get distracted from all these Lambo driving kids that you see in Miami. If you want to get trained up to get really, really good at sales from me personally, and also get placed into a good high ticket sales role, I've helped hundreds of guys do that from my inner circles. You can apply to get coached by me one-on-one down below this video by booking a call. If you have any questions, message me on Instagram. I'll be able to reply and give you some more in-depth answers over there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.